Left wing versus right wing. The left wing is a question or a multiplicity. The right wing is the answer or the unitive principle. Now, Pageau in a video recently said that the right wing is in the end correct, and that is true, that unity does in the end win, as in heaven, you could say, that all is under God. But there's also a problem there, because in earthly terms, the Antichrist is the right wing that wins on earth. And so it ends up being the case that the ultimate left wing on earth is actually belief in God. And this is the problem, is that when a unitive principle and a principle of multiplicity are on the same level, the principle of unity is actually incapable of conquering without the use of tyrannical force. And what I mean by the same level is, if you look at a unity and a multiplicity, all right, you take a unity and a multiplicity that are on the same, they are dealing with the problem at the same level of capacity to deal with the problem. You can label the pair of them as a multiplicity to which there is a unity above them which solves the problem. So this third separate entity is the unity which actually solves the problem. It's not the unitive principle that's dealing directly with it's not right and left and then the right wing wins, right? Is that there's right and left, and they are the left, and the right, which is above them, is the one that is correct. And this is something very important to keep in mind, because when the left wing has a point, you can't just enforce the right wing on top of it. You have to take into account the left wing, because the left wing is telling you that we haven't gotten to that ultimate stage. There's some practical, real world, just you got to be okay with some compromises that aren't perfect type things, which is basically the cutting of the Gordian knot. All right, solving the Gordian knot is the ultimate right wing. Cutting the Gordian knot is the compromise the right wing makes in order to keep its unitive capacities in the face of a left wing that actually has a point. And it's a delicate balance between the two, ensuring that the left wing maintains the point that it actually has in the face of right wing things, and that the right wing unifies enough but not too much that compromise level is not it's not going overboard, it's not going into tyranny. And this is actually why in the recent video Pageau had on finding nuance in politics, there's a place made specifically for basically the left wing, right? Within the right wing, there's a special place where we recognize the problem of it and we make exceptions. Now, taking the left wing and the right wing as a dichotomy, which is beyond our capacity to solve, if we take those as a unit, as the both of them being a unit, and we bring it into the center of our focus, into the holy place of the civilization, then it becomes the temple from which our civilization actually springs. Because by taking the cast off parts, the multiplicity of something that is a unity, we are actually calling it by name. All right, that we're naming that unitive principle by naming the multiplicity that's solved by it. So when we ask the question, we call out the answer, right? So if we take the right wing and left wing that are existent at one layer of the problem and we enshrine them as a unity of multiplicity, then we're calling out from above the answer to that question. which is actually how we form sacrality in nations, etc., is by doing this, is that that becomes the tree, that becomes the centerpiece, the central holy place from which the capacity of our society to unify actually flows. So the solution is not the exile of the left wing to the absolute extremes, not at all. It's actually to bring it into the most sacred space. The crowning of the most far and extreme is only a problem when the question that is being posed, when the issue that is being raised up is the issue of issuiness. And now what I mean by that is like when the rebellion is for its own sake, when the rebellion is for its own sake, then putting rebellion for its own sake at the top of the hierarchy collapses the hierarchy. But that's because rebellion for its own sake is needing an answer to a question which has no answer. Like by definition, like intentionally by definition has no answer. So, but any question that has potentially has some answer, some question asked in good faith, right? If it's a question asked in good faith and it gets raised up to the center and crowned therein, it becomes the crown of thorns. It becomes the nails in the hands and feet of Christ. That taking that into the most sacred space is actually the purpose of a correctly ordered center, to crown that, because this is has to do with the fact that right now we're living in a time when kings are artists, right? That kings are jokers and fools and artists. That we are the outcasts, the kings, not we with me personally, but kings are the outcast currently. That we held on to problems that currently in our current social order have no solution, but we held on to them despite that because we knew that they needed to be kept in the sacred space. And that's why we are in exile, because like Paggio keeps on saying, that this is a dichotomy between the ultimate extremes of totalitarian and falling apart. That's how Antichrist type solutions work. That's how cutting the Gordian knot works, is that when you go too far in enforcing authority that has no basis in solving the problems, you actually take the true king and you cast him out. That's the effect of that. One of them, just like in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.